Let's compare these two charts. Right now, Ethereum is sitting at $4,327. When I compare that to Bitcoin, it's sitting at $110,000. Okay? But if you compare these two charts, the timeline's about the same, but the price movement is way different. So you can see this is Ethereum, this is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has this kind of like explosive growth here, okay? Whereas Ethereum is kind of stagnated at this all-time high. So when I look at this, the all-time high of 2021 was around just under $5,000. And we're kind of sitting around that same price. It's kind of dipped recently, but it's just under $5,000. Whereas when we see Bitcoin, we can see it hit this all-time high from the last bull cycle, which is about 69K, and then it had an explosive growth out of that, and it's still going up, okay? But the good news is that recently Ethereum is getting a lot of gains. There's a lot of talk about it, and a lot of this is related to Bitcoin ETFs. So this is the news from yesterday. Essentially, the third largest holder of Ethereum is a group called the Ether Machine, and they just bought another $2 billion worth of Ethereum. Okay, and in this move, also the investor that brought this investment is a guy called Jeffrey Burns, and he's going to join the Ethereum Machine's board. All right, but the question is, why is this important? Well, like it says here, the Ether Machine is the third largest holder, and then above them is SharpLink Gaming and BitMine Immersion Tech. All right, but something that's important to note is that these are all, they're not crypto tickers, they are actually stock market tickers. Okay, so these are all Ethereum ETFs. They are essentially groups that are buying up all this Ethereum, and they're allowing participants to buy this Ethereum through the ETF model. Okay, so just to quickly note, BitMine Immersion Tech, SharpLink Gaming, and the Ether Machine. These are the top three. And then number 4 is the Ethereum Foundation. It's the actual creators and designers of Ethereum hold less than these three groups. And just a little bit about the Ether Machine. So the key difference between the Ether Machine is that they are really trying to do this like DeFi native. And so their idea is that because Ethereum has a staking reward, they're going to then kind of roll that into their ticker, into their ETF, and then the holders of the ETF will then be able to participate in staking through this model. Another important note is that these guys are actually not, you cannot buy this ETF yet. They're going to be merging with a company called Dynamics. Okay, and essentially Dynamics has already been bought by the Ether Machine. You can see their ticker is now ETHM, and they had a slight pump here from $10 to $12. I'm not a stock guru, so I don't know how to gauge this stock, but I would assume it goes up more in the future. I have no idea. Okay, but before I wrap this video, I want to kind of explain why this is so important, because we were talking about Ethereum versus Bitcoin, right? The key difference here is Bitcoin, for example, there's companies like Strategy, MicroStrategy, and they buy Bitcoin, and essentially people that buy the Strategy stock, they're just kind of trying to buy exposure to Bitcoin. And this is why this is one of the reasons why Bitcoin has pumped so hard. And this is now about to happen for Ethereum. But there's a key difference because Ethereum gives staking rewards, like I said before. If I go to this, right? So why stake your ETH? Because you can earn rewards. And not only that, is the more people that stake, the secure the system will be. Okay? So it's kind of a win-win. The holders of Ethereum get rewards, and then the Ethereum network is more secure because there's more ETH staked. We can see right now the rewards from staking ETH is about 3%. Okay, so that means if I have, what was the amount right here? If I have $8 billion, let's actually do a quick calculation just so I can see this. Okay, so if I have $8 billion, that's 1, 2, 3, that's 1,000, million, billion, okay, times 3%. So that means I'm going to be making $240 million per year just from the staking rewards if I stake this whole stack. But as a lot of people know, as you may know, these companies not only stake them, they also kind of get collectible debt on this, as like they have this as an asset and they collect debt upon this in order to get money to buy more. So it's kind of this kind of rollover effect. So anyways, going back to the staking, that's a lot of money just for doing nothing. It sits there and does nothing, and you get this much money, $240 million. Okay, so a large amount of money. And the final thing I want to mention is that these ETFs give you exposure to this staking reward. But that's not the only way you can do it, right? You can actually stake it yourself. So this is what most people do. They have like a Binance account or a Coinbase account, and you can actually stake within Binance and Coinbase, and they essentially just stake for you and then give you the rewards. Of course, they take their fee though. There's other services here, like you could actually run a node yourself, but you need 32 ETH, which is a lot of money. The one that most people do most people do centralized exchange. The one I do, because I'm a DeFi maxi, is I do a liquid staking token like Lido. And Lido, essentially, you can buy their token. It's called STETH. And then you can, essentially you can stake ETH and they give you STETH. And essentially STETH will give you rewards. You can cash it out for money. So, long story short, buy Ether, because as we can see, it's about to essentially double, right? I'm assuming it's going to hit maybe 8K, 10K. I think it'll probably hit around 8 to 9 and kind of bounce on 10K. And that's to double your money. So buy now because it's about to pump. This is what happened to Bitcoin. It's going to happen to Ethereum very soon. Thank you for watching the video. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.